Naomba tuweze kuketi. Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, Daktari William Samoei Ruto, Naibu wa Rais, Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, mke wa Naibu wa Rais, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, Waziri Mkuu Musalia Mudavadi, Gavana wa Jimbo la Nairobi, Johnston Sakaja, magavana wote ambao walioko hapa, magavana wote walioko hapa, waheshimiwa wabunge wote walioko, maseneta, mawaziri, makatibu wakuu, mabalozi walio hapa leo, wananchi, mabibi na mabwana, hamjambo. Kwa ruhusa yako Mheshimiwa Rais, ningependa nimuite PS wa ugatuzi, Madam Teresia Mbaika, aje atufungulie kwa hotuba yake. Karibu. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali akija. Karibu.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Cabinet Secretaries present, colleague Principal Secretaries, governors, members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, sir, it is said that the shortest distance between two people is a story. Today, we are gathered here to write the story of a new Kenyan transformation story inside the bigger world climate change agenda. The government of Kenya, as the trustee of the Kenya heritage, and through Gazette Notice number 1489-1 of 12th December 2022, established the Nairobi Rivers Commission to spearhead regeneration, protection, beautification of the Nairobi rivers and all the water bodies, and establishing livelihood projects within the boundary of the Nairobi City County. Your Excellency, sir, further, in operation of the authority conferred to His Excellency by the Constitution and the laws of the Republic of Kenya, including the Environmental Management Act and the Climate Change Act, the Commission was established by the national government and placed under the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. This was in recognition by the national government of a duty to protect the environment and combat the devastating impact of climate change in Kenya. Your Excellency, sir, the Nairobi Rivers Commission was therefore formed and mandated to consolidate stakeholders, focus on the various programs on Nairobi River, and execute the Nairobi Basin Plan in order to mitigate Nairobi River's degeneration. Thank you, Your Excellency. At this point, it's my duty to invite the Chair of the Commission, Dr. Pamela Olet.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, His Excellency, if you allow me, my assignment at this point is to introduce to you the commissioners of the Nairobi River Commission. If you allow me, they can come forward. His Excellency, we are starting with Professor Elijah Biama, who is the Vice Chair of the Nairobi Rivers Commission. We are followed by Professor Duncan Ojwang. We are followed by Carlota Lago. We have Grace Senewa. We have Elizabeth Mutitu. His Excellency, if you allow me, I will skip one commissioner for now, but I'll introduce Commissioner Muma Musava. Thank you. His Excellency, at this point, I want to make my maiden speech, and if you allow, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the governors here present, fellow commissioners, distinguished guests, communities and CBOs, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to be here today. I'm delighted to be here today on this auspicious occasion of the inauguration of the Nairobi Rivers Commission by our President, His Excellency, the President William Samoei Ruto. Your Excellency, on my behalf and on behalf of my fellow commissioners, thank you for appointing us to take up this challenging task. I have no doubt in my mind that we are up to the task. We promise you that we are going to deliver to the last word of our mandate. I have all the faith that Kenya Kwanza administration under your leadership is all about service delivery to the common mwananchi. Cleaning this river for our common use, especially those in informal settlements, is a clear indication of your plan to take care of the least among us. Your Excellency, the Nairobi Rivers Commission and its advisory group are determined to deliver your vision by going beyond cleaning the rivers. We will make the Nairobi rivers the engine of socio-economic and environmental transformation for Nairobi and its environs. This we commit. Your Excellency, we will only be achieved through well-coordinated and innovative approaches that put communities at the very heart of this program. This puts the work of the Commission at the core of your government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda and your climate action agenda, not forgetting your 15 billion trees campaign. They are all crucially important to environmental restoration, job, and wealth creation. As a commission, we are well aware that the task ahead of us is complex. We will not relent. We will not give up. Our eyes are all on the ball. This is a legacy to build. There are no two ways about it. Your Excellency, the launch is taking place at a time when the three rivers of the basin, namely Ngong, Nairobi, and Mathai, are experiencing some extreme levels of pollution occasioned by the domestic, medical, and industrial waste generated as a result of the poor land use, the disposal of solid and liquid waste from the sprawling informal settlements, and waste from the industrial plants located in the midstream and the downstream zones of the three rivers. Your Excellency, another challenge that has affected rivers flow is the prolonged drought that has significantly reduced the volumes of water flows, hence resulting in concentrated minimal volumes. This loss of biodiversity has endangered aquatic life almost to the extinction, if anything is to go by. Despite this gloomy picture of the river basin, some successful attempts have been made over the years to restore and regenerate water flows in the three rivers. Your Excellency, the government and private sector initiatives supported by our development partners, including UN Habitat, UNEP, and World Resources Institute, have gone a long way to making strides towards making the success of cleaning the Nairobi rivers a reality. Besides, there have been success stories aimed at the restoration of the quality riverine water flows and revival of biodiversity, especially within the midstream zones of the Nairobi River. The most successful initiative started by the Kenya government is that of the now famous Michuki Park, located between the National Museum Hill and the the Globe Cinema roundabout. Your Excellency, the riparian reserves of Nairobi River, tributaries namely Ngong, Mathare, and Nairobi, have been encroached by both formal and Nairobi and informal settlements that lack sanitation and sewerage services. Your Excellency, the restoration and rehabilitation process of the river is an inevitable aspect since it shall help in curbing the pollution issue. The first attempt to clean the river was in 1999 under the Nairobi River Basin Program. Since then, there have been more attempts, with the most promising one being under the directive of the late Cabinet Minister Honorable John Michuki, which was praised for reviving a river which was dead because of the dumping of human and industrial waste. There are recent efforts including construction of wastewater treatment facilities in Dandora, construction of sewer reticulation network including fecal sludge management infrastructure, and construction of ablution blocks to help improve conditions in informal settlements. Nairobi River continues to suffer from pollution caused by different source and non-source points. Your Excellency, approximately 50% of the capital city residents live in highly congested, informal, and middle-class settlements, mainly located along the Nairobi river banks. Increased urbanization, development of real estate, industrial development, among other factors, are attributed to the causes of pollution. Furthermore, key green recreation areas like the Nairobi Arboretum Forest are being choked by the polluted Kericho River within the middle class and high-rise building areas. The result is Nairobi residents no longer have clean air during sporting or holding of communal events at the park. To avert such problems, it is important to reclaim the Nairobi River Basin to ensure reduced cases of pollution and curbing it in the long term. Lastly, the Nairobi River Commission would like to thank the Kenya government and development partners like UNEP, UN Habitat, and the Water Resources Institute of the World Bank for their contribution to the new mandate for NRC as initiated through the loaded terms of reference. Your Excellency, the Commission is committed to deliver to Kokazi. We are excited by the commitment of your administration through the Office of the Deputy President, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. We commit to work with all the actors, both states and actors at local, national, and international arena. We are ready to listen to you and to work with you to finish the unfinished business of cleaning the Nairobi River. Finally, Your Excellency, I appeal to all Kenyans to support this cause. We are in this for the good of the country, for the good of our people, and for the good of humanity, even as we battle the adverse effects of climate change and make the Nairobi River Basin clean again. Your Excellency, at this point, I would ask for permission to introduce the advisory board to the Nairobi Rivers Commission and request them to come forward. Yes. Okay, it was true. They introduce you. With me, His Excellency, is the daughter of the late Wangari Maathai. She is Wajira Maathai, representing the World Resources Institute. Next is yes. We also have UNEP here, represented by Dr. Alfai Tooth. Sorry. UN Habitat, sorry. Then followed by Inga Anderson, the Executive Director of UNEP. And then last we have the MD of NEMA. And Excellency, if you allow me, I would request them to make a statement. No?
Yeah, so me.
I'm properly guided, His Excellency, and we will ask the Managing Director of NEMA to take over.
No, he says you can go on with the speeches. With the managing director. That'll be alright. Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to do. His Excellency, I'm guided again that I was okay to invite the representative of the World Resources Institute to make a statement.
Thank you, Chair. Your Excellency, the President, William Samoei Ruto, lovely to see you. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, thank you. Her Excellency, Pastor Dorcas, I know how much this means to you. The Governor of Nairobi, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the Governor of Nairobi, His Excellency Johnson Sakaja, Cabinet Secretary of Environment, Honorable Soipan Tuya, the Executive Director of UNEP, the Executive Director of UN Habitat, and our UN Coordinator, Stephen Jackson, also here. Dignitaries, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Your Excellency, on behalf of the World Resources Institute, I'm truly honored to be here today to launch the Nairobi Rivers Commission. This is a critical step, really, in amplifying the work that local communities, resident communities here have been doing already to restore and revitalize the rivers of Nairobi. I want to thank you and acknowledge your government's commitment to establishing this commission, and actually, most importantly, to providing this high level of political support that is required for this commission to have the muscle to deliver. As a permanent commission with a strong political will and domiciled at the office of His Excellency, the Deputy President, we are nicely set up for success. Now, the communities here in Korogosho are one of the many communities we know have already been rehabilitating Nairobi rivers. We do not have to look far. Yes, please recognize them. We actually don't have to look so far to be inspired. They've created right here the People's Park, vegetable gardens, playgrounds for children, and economic activities like the tree nurseries we just saw. Today we celebrate them. We want to lift their efforts up and consolidate and say that we are actually joining them in upscaling their efforts. In Kenya, we have seen what it takes and what can be done when we collectively protect nature. My late mother, Wangari Maathai, led the women of the Greenbelt movement in planting 4 million trees not too far away here in the Aberdares to protect the primary catchment area for our wonderful city of Nairobi and to improve the quality and the quantity of water. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, rivers are a very good indicator for the ecosystem health because everything we do outside the river ultimately affects the health of the river, from our homes to industries. The truth of the matter is that rivers themselves are like open books. They will tell the full story of how we are conducting ourselves. What we are doing as communities and as industry, as commercial enterprises, will ultimately reflect in the health of the rivers. Therefore, we must really work at all levels, sectors, and scales outside the rivers of Nairobi to ensure the rivers of Nairobi are healthy. So, Your Excellency, I want to leave us with 3 guidelines that I hope will guide our work as a commission. Number 1, A, arrest. These are the ABCs. A, arrest. We must arrest pollution, contamination, and the destructive activities that affect the health and well-being of communities that actually live along the rivers of Nairobi and beyond. B, basin. I could not be more excited that we are taking, as a commission, a basin approach to this work. You heard it from our chair. What is happening upstream, sooner or later will find its way downstream. Everything is connected. And C, communities. We must continue to center local communities adjacent to these rivers by working with them, amplifying their voices, investing in them, and scaling up their innovations. Today we planted trees, and all of those trees have to be taken care of. They have to be watered. Indeed, nature-based solutions are good, business idea. So I hope that we will invest in those communities for at least 3 years, that the trees that we planted today will survive. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, 3 years, we at the World Resources Institute will remain to working with you and supporting and committed as technical partners. We will share our passion and our expertise working in cities as we have in India, Mexico, and Brazil to revitalize those cities. I'm so happy that we're bringing that work right here to Kenya. So of course, this work will not happen overnight. It will be equally challenging as it will be rewarding. But we are committed. We are here for the long run, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, and all the way we will build a lasting legacy together. Thank you. It is a privilege to serve.
His Excellency, allow me to call the UN Habitat representative, Dr. Raphael.
Your Excellency, Daktari William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Soipan Tuja, Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, and all other Cabinet Secretaries present here, Your Excellency Johnson Sakaja, Governor of Nairobi City County, the Executive Director of UNEP, the UN Resident Coordinator, Wanjira Maathai, Dr. Pamela Olet, distinguished guests, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, gathered here at the People's Park, which is being transformed by the Com Green Solutions. Very good afternoon to you all. I'm standing here on behalf of Maimouna Mod Sharif, Executive Director of UN Habitat, and I'm pleased to join you today for this official launch of the Commission, which demonstrates the dedication and the commitment of the Government of Kenya and partners towards the regeneration of the rivers of Nairobi. The banks of Nairobi rivers are home to over 56% of the Nairobi population, spread across several low and middle income settlements along the basin. The corridors of these rivers host numerous educational institutions and high-value ecosystems, and are hubs of a dynamic informal sector that fuels the city economy. The Nairobi rivers provide an unparalleled advantage, which could be a turning point towards sustainable development. This will ultimately improve urban health and well-being, create decent jobs and ecotourism opportunities. It will enhance biodiversity and support the provision of clean water, sanitation and waste management. The initiative will also be a catalyst for infrastructure, including affordable housing, non-motorized transport and green public spaces, particularly within the vulnerable areas. As UN Habitat, we are actively supporting urban generation approach by promoting inclusive, vibrant neighborhoods and communities. Creating social value and connecting urbanization with nature are at the very heart of this initiative. We are therefore greatly pleased to be part of this advisory group together with UNEP, the World Resources Institute, and NEMA. Our relationship with the Nairobi City County and other stakeholders has already enabled us to undertake city-wide public space assessment and develop the spatial profile of Nairobi River. And these were shared through participatory awareness creation activities and have been instrumental in shaping a common vision for corridor development, including the design of selected public spaces and streets. As the Commission officially starts its work, UN Habitat is keen to convene the local and international technical expertise required, liaising with other UN agencies and partners for more integrated technical and financial support. As the United Nations Habitat Assembly will take place in Nairobi in June this year, it's the hope of our Executive Director that the guests of this Assembly will have the privilege to discover the changing face of the Nairobi River. Your Excellency, As I conclude, UN Habitat has enjoyed 45 years of collaboration with the government of Kenya and continues to jointly explore new frontiers towards sustainable urban development. We are grateful for the support accorded by the government over the years and wish to assure you of our commitment to further strengthen our partnership. I also extend my gratitude to all institutions and individuals championing the regeneration of the rivers of Nairobi and call upon all of us to continue working together and deliver as one. Thank you very much.
His Excellency, allow the Executive Director of UNEP, Ms. Ingel Anderson.
Mr. President, it's an honor to see you here, Mr. Deputy President. What an honor. You have led and shown vision. You have brought together ourselves and all these good people here at Gojogoro People's Park with the effort of wanting to clean up. And I listened very carefully to what Wangari said. We're going to arrest what goes into that river. We're going to deal with the entire basin, and it is going to have to involve the community. Mr. Vice President, late last year, I had the privilege of joining you at the request of His Excellency the President to go to the northern part of your beautiful country, to Garissa. And there we saw what climate change is doing to our world. And there we saw the impacts that this is having. Even though Kenya has done nothing to drive climate change, Kenya is suffering the impacts. And we see that also when we look at water scarcity. We see that when we look at rainfall shortages. We see that when we look at flooding. We see that when we look at changing oceans currents. It is critical that we have climate action, which is why it is so brilliant that this country, later on this year, under the auspices of His Excellency the President, will host an African Union of induced climate summit that will see the world come to Nairobi. Why Nairobi? Well, because this is the environmental capital of the world. This is the place where environmental diplomacy takes place. So climate change, yes. Loss and damage, yes. Obviously working on the basin level, that is absolutely critical. Cleaning up a basin needs to involve everyone. And we heard from Manyora, it has to be the politicians like your good selves, who are leaning in and stepping up and making it real. But people who are here, community groups who are here, youth who are here, students who are here, churches and mosques who are here, everyone can make a difference, including obviously private sector. And it'll have to be about partnership, which is why we, from the World Resources Institute, from UN Habitat, of course from NEMA, we really work everyone for NEMA, and UNEP under the overall coordination here in Kenya by the resident coordinator, why we are so very pleased to be joining this work. Rest assured, we will not rest till this job is done. Our commitment is absolutely clear, and we look forward to seeing the results of what we are starting today. Thank you.
His Excellency, allow me to invite the Governor of Nairobi County to make his remarks.